Hi. So today I'm gonna do my December wrap up. I haven't done one yet, but I really want to do one just for also me like looking back at like how I felt about books. Like yeah, I have my reading journal, but talking about it sometimes is just different. So I wanted to talk about it. So the first book I read in December was called Fall Into You by Caroline Frank. I did give it 3 stars. I read it on my Kindle under Kindle Unlimited, so I didn't pay for anything. Um, it was an okay book. Um, I do recommend reading it because my favorite one was the second one, which I'll talk about next. So the male main character's name is Matt, and he's a doctor. And then the girl, her name is Liza, and I don't remember what she does, but she was kind of annoying. Like she just was always like down on herself. She was super repetitive and he was trying to get her out of it and it was just annoying. Like you could tell like she needed to cut her shit. And at the end there was a trope that was put in it that I really didn't think was going to be put in there, but it was. And I really didn't appreciate it. Yeah, it was kind of just thrown in like, let's just end it this way and it'll work out. I didn't really like that. But yeah, it is a best friend's brother because Matt is Liza's brother's best friend. Whatever. So, yeah, so that one is the first of a trilogy. And then I read Shall We Dance by Caroline Frank. That one, 5 stars. I still think about this book. It was so good. Theo is the epitome of grump, and Barbara is the epitome of sunshine. Like in the dictionary, they are the perfect example of grumpy sunshine. And I also read this one on Kindle for free, and it's like Dancing with the Stars. So he's the dancer and she's an actor, but she has no money, and so she's doing this to get money because she has health issues and she knows she needs to work and all this stuff. She's trying to get her name back out there so she can work, and Theo doesn't understand, and the way they work together, and then they do a fake dating situation. I loved it. It was so freaking good. I loved their banter. I loved Barbara to no end. I loved that she had a big bag just full of random shit, and she always had peanut M&Ms, a family-sized bag, peanut M&Ms in there, and he's just like, that can't be your lunch. Please eat something healthy. And like, it is so freaking good. I still think about that book. Oh my god, so good. Then I read Second Chance Snowmance by Caroline Frank. This was the last of the trilogy. I gave this one like a 3.5, and I also read this one on Kindle for free. And it was okay. It was better than the first one, but it's not my favorite. Shall We Dance was my favorite. Asher is just like, man, like I didn't see anything really special about Asher. And then Rosie, I liked Rosie. I did like her. It's just Asher didn't give me anything. And I was just like, meh. After thinking about it for a while, I'm just like, he just wasn't giving me anything. Like, I just didn't see it. And they were like best friends since like they're 12, and then their parents decide that they should be together, and they have this like whole scheme over Christmas to get them together, and it was okay. I just didn't feel the connection between them. Like I felt the friendship, but I didn't feel like they should have been together. I don't know. Not my favorite. Then I read Blood Promise by the fourth book in the Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I gave that one 3 stars. That one was my least favorite of the 6 books. That one, it was boring compared to the other two, and then like the last two especially. It just, I did not like it. I did not like any of it really. It just, I understood why it was written the way it was. I understand. But it was boring, and I was used to all the badassery and everything from the first few books, but it wasn't for me personally. Then I read Spirit Bound, the fifth book of Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I gave that one 4.25 stars because that one was significantly better than the last one. I mean, it was so much better, but it hurt my heart knowing Rose and Adrian do not end up together because the next series is about Adrian. So it's just like, Rose, get your head out of your ass and just end it already. Like, just end it. And the ending shocked me. Mind you, I read this series when I got out of high school. I was so surprised. I completely forgot that happened in the book, but it was so good. I really liked it. And then Last Sacrifice, which is the last book of Vampire Academy, I also gave that one a 4.25. That one, the figuring out of the ending of the last one, that was my favorite part. The conniving, the puzzle solving, all that was great. But I didn't like the relationship stuff. I was like, you built up that relationship in the first book and the second book so high, and it just went downhill. Like, it just didn't feel like in the last one that they should have even been together. It wasn't my favorite. But all in all, just everything else around, like, if you took the relationship out of it, that would have been like one of the best books. I really liked that one. I do like the series in general. It just started to kind of go downhill in the third book it went downhill. But the last two kind of saved it. If they just didn't have the relationship stuff, they could have been almost 5 stars. They could have been a lot closer to a 5-star. Then I read Deal with the Dragon by Nicole Blanchard. I gave it a 2.75. I'm glad I read it because the storyline was very, very good. It was a very good storyline. It wasn't written well. It wasn't written well. There was a lot of grammatical errors, and like there was a lot of jumping in scenes because it wasn't fluid, and it didn't make a lot of sense, and it just I don't know if Nicole Blanchard is going to be for me. I think I've read other books from her before, like a while ago, but I don't remember. So I'm going to keep trying her and see if I will read it. But it's about, I don't even remember their names. And I looked at my reading journal and I never wrote down their names. So obviously this one isn't really going to stick with me very long, but I like how he's a dragon shifter, but he's the only one that can shift because a spell was put on him and his clan. She's meant to break it, but she doesn't know that, and they were betrothed when she was little. It's instant love. I was like, okay, and then throughout the whole book, they're not really communicating to truly know one another, and I was like, okay, why do you guys love each other when you guys don't even know anything about each other? Like, you guys don't know nothing. And in the end, I loved the twist at the end. It made sense, but still, like, with everything in between, it didn't line up, and I just didn't really appreciate how she wrote that. I mean, anybody else could have written it and it would have been so much better. Then I read My December Darling by Lauren Asher. It's a novella, and I gave it 4.5 stars, and I read it on Kindle Unlimited, and it was so good. I really liked that one. I kind of wish it was a little longer and it wasn't considered a novella. And we just had a little bit more of like communication between like Catalina and her sister and Catalina and her mom, because she does have a hard time with them, and you know, she's not really opening up, and they're like, well, we're gonna try, and then it's just like, oh my god, everything's perfect again. But there was no really build up or like communication to really actually fix the issue. It just was fixed. That's what I didn't like. But also, it's a novella. But I mean, it was 234 pages. It's a really long novella, so I don't know. But I loved Luke Darling. He is the sunshine, Catalina's the grumpy. And he knew the moment he saw her, he was like, yeah, I gotta try to be with her, you know? And Catalina, she was kind of down on herself a lot, and it was kind of annoying. But he got her out of it, and I thought it was really weird. But the only thing I didn't like with the storyline was that her sister is marrying Catalina's ex, but like they weren't really even dating. They weren't very loving or anything like that. Like they most of the time they weren't even together because she's a traveling nurse. Like they most of the time they weren't even together. So it's like to me it wasn't even that big of a deal. And like to Alex and Gabriella, it wasn't a big deal either. So but everybody else, she thought everybody else was judging her because of it, and nobody was judging her. She did it to herself. Um, the next one I read was Ice Planet Barbarians, the first one of the series by Ruby Dixon. Read that one on Kindle for free because I have Kindle Unlimited. It was 179 pages, so it was really short, and it was a 4.25 star. I loved it. I laughed out loud multiple times in this book. I know from here on out, if I'm reading like something really heavy, I need to read something like this in between, like before I read something else, because man, it was hilarious. And I loved how the girl, her name is Georgie, she gets abducted by aliens, and for some reason the aliens have to take their part of the ship off because their ship is going down. It goes on an ice planet, and Georgie's the only one that will leave the ship. The other girls are just like, no, Georgie, you go. You go do it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You guys can't do anything. Like, so she goes, she runs into Vectel, the main alien guy. He knows that she's the one that he's supposed to be with. And, there's a lot of smut. I was laughing because they can't speak each other's languages and where they're trying to communicate. And it was so funny. I really, really liked it. I just couldn't give it a 5 stars because while they're on this journey, they're not talking because like she gets his language put in her so she could talk to him. But even after that, like they don't talk about anything. They don't communicate. It's all smut. It's like, no, all because it's her doesn't mean you can't put in the work. Like you need to get to know her and you need to get to know him. Like you guys don't truly know each other. I would love to have seen their relationship grow, but I know the next one, it's 1.5. It is them on their honeymoon. So I'm hopefully going to read that soon. Hopefully that will help with the whole talking situation and not just smut. I really want them to get to know each other. And then I read A Drop of Blood. It's the first book of the Lost King series by Charlene Hartnady. I gave this one 3.75. I read it on Kindle, so I read it for free because I have it through Kindle Unlimited. I really liked this one. There was just something, I just couldn't give it above a 4. I just couldn't. I like Xander. He's a farmer, but it kind of was a little bit predictable. Like he's always saying like, I feel like I'm forgetting something or something like that. So I knew something was up, and then kind of in the story, he's with Thesha and he's trying to figure things out, and she's just kind of like a warrior. She's trying to save humans from Fae and all this stuff, and she's like, how do you know how to use a sword? And you're a farmer. And he's like, I don't know, I've never done this before. But it's like, obviously you have, you're not remembering anything, so obviously something's going on. So by the end, it comes out why he knows how to use a sword and everything, and she kind of panics, but they've been together by this point. But it's like they did work a lot together and got to know each other, but it was like I would think about it and then it would happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this one's just a little bit on the predictable side, and I'm not one of those can ever guess it, but I freaking got it every time. I was really surprised. But I do recommend it. It's a quick, easy read, and the way she writes too is very descriptive, and I really like the descriptions that she gives. It just makes it so more immersive. I do really like that. The last book I read for the month is The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. It's the 3rd book in the Dream Harbor series. I gave it a 3.5. I did get it on Kindle, but you have to pay for it even if you're Kindle limited, so I paid $2.99. The male is Bennett, which is from the first book, from Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Jeannie's brother. I wanted him in a book so bad. I was so glad to finally get him in a book. And then the girl, her name is Kira, she bought A Christmas Tree Farm. But mind you, she did not know that it was a Christmas tree farm. She was not told. She told it was like a ranch with a cabin, and then she gets there and it's a Christmas tree farm, and she doesn't like Christmas. But her and Bennett strike up a relationship. He is the sunshine, she's the grump. but like there wasn't like there was some like communication between them. There was some building, but he did more of the building than she did, in my opinion. I wish she delved into more of why she felt the way she felt. Like she does a lot, but I just didn't think it was enough with what the situation was. I feel like she needed to do more and talk to him about it more, and then work together about it. Make it make a little more sense. But I mean, it was good. The one thing I don't like is that on the bottom of the synopsis, it lists tropes on Goodreads. And one of the tropes is the one bed trope. I think that is so misleading because one bed trope, I feel like, is like if they're running away, they get to a hotel, they only have one room left. You buy that room, not even thinking about it, go to the room, it's one bed. You're forced to be in one bed. They were not forced to be in one bed. He brought a mattress down and they just decided to sleep with each other on that mattress. Like, it wasn't like there was a couch right there. Like, there's no reason for it to be a one bed trope. I do not consider a one bed trope. But I mean, to each their own. But yeah, so that's what I read in December. I did I didn't do as well this month as I usually do, but I mean, Christmas and New Year's, it came up and there was just no way that I could read as much. Like, there was just so much to do, and then I didn't have my car, and it was very stressful. So I did read 11 books, and I read 3,911 pages. Not my best month, but all in all, with Christmas and everything, I read quite a bit and I'm pretty happy with it. A lot of it I read on Kindle because of putting up my village, and I don't want to move any of my books. And then to put them back is not easy. So I focused on my Kindle this month. But yeah, so if you want to talk to me about any of the books down below, you get in the comment section. If you have any questions for me, leave them down in the comment section. I'll try to answer them in the next video, in the next vlog. And I hope you have a great day.